The horrible death of Muammar Gaddafi. The complete history. Part 1. Who was Muammar Gaddafi? Muammar Gaddafi was a Libyan politician, military man, and dictator who ruled his country for 42 years, from 1969 until his execution in 2011. During his long rule, he drove significant changes in Libya and played an influential role in Libyan politics and geopolitics. Region. Gaddafi underwent several ideological transformations and political alignments throughout his life, from Pan-Arabism to Pan-Africanism, making him a controversial and sometimes belligerent figure on the international stage. More in depth about his life. Muammar Gaddafi was deeply influenced by the 1952 Egyptian revolution led by General Mohammed Naguib and Colonel Nasser. In 1969, Gaddafi and his group, the Free Officers, carried out a peaceful coup d'état known as the September Revolution, which overthrew King Idris I in Libya and proclaimed the Libyan Arab Republic. Gaddafi took over as president of the Revolutionary Command Council, RCC, and became commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Following the coup, Gaddafi and the CMR carried out purges to eliminate supporters of the former Idris regime and established the People's Courts to try royalist politicians and journalists. Islamic law, Sharia, was introduced into the legal system and unions and strikes were banned. Despite some temporary resignations by Gaddafi, he remained the leading figure in the government. In terms of economic policies, a state capitalist approach was initially promoted, encouraging business development and the oil industry. The Green Revolution was launched to increase agricultural productivity. The government later improved oil revenues through favorable agreements with foreign corporations and partial nationalization of the industry. In summary, Gaddafi led a drastic change in Libya following the September Revolution of 1969, establishing a republic and promoting policies that led to a further consolidation of the power of the CMR and a transformation in the structure of the country. In 1973, Muammar Gaddafi announced the start of a popular revolution in Libya, which involved several key elements. Dissolution of existing laws. Gaddafi declared the annulment of all current laws in the country, which would be replaced by new revolutionary laws. Elimination of opponents. The need to suppress all opponents of the revolution was emphasized. Administrative revolution. An administrative transformation was undertaken aimed at eliminating what Gaddafi considered a bureaucracy and an upper class in the system. Formation of popular committees. The population was encouraged to establish popular committees as a way to encourage direct political participation. These committees were intended to serve as channels of political participation and were implemented in various institutions, such as schools and universities. Cultural revolution. A cultural revolution was announced to eliminate perceived harmful foreign influences and protect Libyan identity. This aspect of the revolution shared similarities with China's Cultural Revolution. The popular committees played a central role in this popular revolution by facilitating public participation in decision-making, although their operation was subject to the guidelines of the Revolutionary Command Council, RCC, led by Gaddafi. Despite its supposed democratization, the CMR maintained control over fundamental decisions, which limited true participatory democracy. Furthermore, the committees were also used to monitor critical individuals and in some cases led to tribal tensions in the country. You are in the right place. Our cultural channel offers a wide range of programs to satisfy your historical and cultural curiosity. Historical events. Immerse yourself in the most significant events in history with our stories about moments that changed the world. Express reading. Get the best summaries and video analysis of popular books in just minutes, so you can enjoy the essence of a work without spending hours reading. The horrible death of. Explore the shocking and often tragic story behind the deaths of famous people who left a mark on the world. Biographies of greats. Learn about the lives of the most influential figures in history, from kings and queens to revolutionary scientists and artists. Literary criticism. Discover in-depth analysis of literary masterpieces and current literary trends. Subscribe now and stay up to date with our programs. History, literature, and video analysis await you on our cultural channel. Do not miss it. In the 1980s, Libya faced significant economic challenges due to a drastic decline in its annual oil revenues. This caused financial problems and a growing external debt. To encourage self-sufficiency, austerity measures were implemented, such as the deportation of foreign workers in 1985. Furthermore, internal tensions persisted, with attempts by opponents to attack Gaddafi's residence in 1984, resulting in numerous arrests. Internationally, Libya became involved in conflicts in Chad and experienced disagreements with other African nations due to its intervention in other countries' affairs. Gaddafi sought political unity with Morocco, resulting in the Treaty of Oujda in 1984, although relations remained tense due to Morocco's alliances with the United States and Israel. Relations with the United States deteriorated under President Ronald Reagan, who adopted a tough policy toward Libya, accusing it of being a puppet of the Soviet Union. In response, the United States implemented an oil embargo and closed its embassy in Libya. Tensions culminated in Operation El Dorado Canyon in 1986, a U.S. airstrike in retaliation for the bombing of the La Belle nightclub in Berlin. Internationally, this episode generated condemnation, but also reinforced Gaddafi's image as an anti-imperialist leader. Despite tensions with the United States and its Western allies, Gaddafi maintained relations with some Western countries, as evidenced by his meeting with Felipe González and Bruno Kreisky in Mallorca in 1984. This indicates that, although there were moments of friction, relations never broke completely, and Gaddafi continued to seek international contacts. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Libya's foreign policy underwent a significant change. One of the most notable events was the Lockerbie bombing in 1988, in which a Pan Am plane exploded over the Scottish town of Lockerbie, killing 270 people. Libya was accused of being behind the attack and faced international sanctions. In 1992, as a result of international pressure and economic sanctions, Gaddafi expressed his willingness to hand over those accused of the Lockerbie bombing to stand trial. This marked a significant shift in Libyan policy and paved the way for a gradual lifting of sanctions. Furthermore, in the 1990s, Gaddafi sought to normalize relations with the West. Libya gave up its weapons of mass destruction program in 2003 and accepted responsibility for the Lockerbie attack, paying compensation to the victims. These moves led to the lifting of international sanctions and the beginning of a reconciliation process with several Western countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom. In 1999, the Libyan National Oil Authority, NOC, was established to oversee the country's oil industry. This marked a major change in Libya's oil policy and opened the country to foreign investment in the oil industry. Despite these changes in foreign policy, the internal political situation in Libya remained highly authoritarian under Gaddafi's leadership. Power was concentrated in the hands of the leader and his inner circle, and political and civil liberties remained limited. In summary, in the 1980s and 1990s, Libya underwent significant changes in its foreign policy, including the surrender of those accused of the Lockerbie bombing and the normalization of relations with the West. However, internal politics remained highly authoritarian under Gaddafi's leadership. Against the backdrop of the Arab Spring in 2011, Libya experienced a civil war motivated by widespread dissatisfaction with the oppressive government of Muammar Gaddafi, who had been in power for decades. Initial protests led to the formation of the National Transitional Council, CNT, in the east of the country, which represented the rebels. The violence escalated as Gaddafi responded with brutality, resulting in the issuance of international sanctions and a UN resolution suspending Libya from its Human Rights Council. NATO intervened in March 2011 to protect civilians and support the rebels, leading to the fall of Gaddafi's regime in August 2011. Gaddafi was accused of crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court (ICC), but was never held accountable due to political and diplomatic circumstances. Additionally, he faced accusations of complicity in crimes in Sierra Leone, but was also not prosecuted for these crimes. In short, the 2011 Libyan civil war was a response to government repression and culminated in NATO intervention. To be continued. Discover history in an entertaining and fascinating way. Subscribe to our cultural channel. Join us on an exciting journey through time and space as we explore the secrets and mysteries of the past. Don't miss any of our updates and share it with your friends so they can join in the fun too.